Hi folks, and welcome back to episode 4 in the series, What Happens When a Decrepit Bloke in his 50s Starts Going to the Gym 5 days a week. And today we're going to talk about what I get up to at the gym. So I joined the local council-run gym. It's a charity, everybody. So they've got 16 facilities across Cheshire. So I've got swimming pools, gyms, exercise classes, yoga, pilates, things like that, and access to spa facilities as well. And I'm spending most of my time at the neighbouring town of Holmes Chapel because they've got a spa. Oh, I've got to say, I love the spa. Oh, it's lovely. So they've got, so in there, as well as the gym, there's a spa which has a jacuzzi, a steam room and a sauna. So, everybody. So it cost me £295 for the year. It appears to be cheapest to pay up front and wait till they have a deal on. So right now, the time of filming this in, February, March 2023, they're doing 12 months for the price of 10. Also, if there's a couple of people in the family going, you get a discount, you get a couple's discount. So, that's what I've done. Having paid all that money, I want to make the most of it. But to be fair, the cost did put me off for a long time. But really, when you think about it, 300 quid for a year, if you're going to use it 4 or 5 times a week, is a bargain. And when we get into the health benefits you're going to get from that, it's worth doing. Of course, if you perhaps you've got some medical issues, if you go to the local doctor, they might put you on one of these 12-week restarts where you get to use all the gym facilities. Everybody, if you live in the Cheshire area, and I'm sure other places have a similar arrangement. Okay, so let's start with the spa. Why do I love the spa? Well, honestly, sometimes I will just go after a run just to use the jacuzzi. After either a run or a gym session, it really loosens up all your muscles. I really notice the days when, for some reason, it's out of action and I can't use it, and then for the rest of the day, I'm like Douglas Bader. Yeah, love the jacuzzi. But the main health benefit part of using the spa is the steam room and sauna, whichever you prefer. I tend to use a mix of both. I tend to go in the steam room and then finish with a sauna. And what you do is you head into the sauna, say, and you get until you stay in for a while until you're sweating like mad. Then come out and have an ice cold shower, and then repeat. And so you think, why are you doing that to yourself? I'm torturing yourself. I'm doing it because there are real health benefits. So using the sauna, it triggers the release of proteins into your body that clean things up. And so there's been a couple of really interesting studies on the subject. There was a 20-year study looking at the effects of the percentage of people in the study who then went on to get dementia. And there was a 65% reduction in dementia in people who sauna regularly, because those proteins, I'm assuming, they're clearing out the plaques in your brain. Again, all of these things, these are my thoughts. Disclaimer, these are just my thoughts. What do I know? Do your own research, make your own mind up. But yeah, I mean, for someone in their 50s who's starting to get a bit fluffy-headed, something that might reduce my risk of dementia is very interesting. Also, again, another 20-year study, they looked at fatal coronary disease and all mortality based on cardiac arrest. And there was a large reduction in people who sauna regularly. Okay, the cold plunge part of it really helps your immune system. So as you get older, one of the issues you can get is inflammation. You start to get arthritis, heart disease, these sort of things. It's your own immune system attacking your body. Getting a bit bored probably. Going, let's just attack that bit there. And the cold plunge helps reset your immune system, from what I'm led to understand. And so that's good. And the other thing you get with the cold plunges, people report getting ill less often. Both things that sound marvellous to me. But whatever, I love doing the spa. The other thing I really love about the spa is when I'm in the gym, I'm in the zone, I'm focused. There's no talking, it's just work. But when you're in the spa, there's a lovely group of people there. And so you have a chat and you get to know the regulars, Mike and Jay and Del and everyone. And, and you can have a chat and chew the cud. That's the nice social side to the training. Okay, so anyway, that's the sauna. And honestly, on a day where, I wake up and everything hurts and I'm tired and I just don't want to do anything, having that spa there is quite often enough to get me up and out. And I'll think, I'll just go and use the spa. I won't do it. By the time you get there, you end up doing a gym workout too. So then we come on to the gym itself. So first, some key principles that I follow. So, okay, first with gym. This is not the first time I've been in a gym. Back in my early 20s, after the breakup of my first marriage, I was emotionally broken, frankly. It was like someone had thrown a hand grenade at me. I was just in pieces. And so after drinking far too much for a while, I then started to come round and there was a gym on the other side of the road. And so I started going there. And I found that using the gym was like therapy, really. It made you feel better and it was great for your self-confidence. And I know my way around a gym. That's what I'm getting to. And I did learn some things from my previous experiences. So one is no vanity lifting. And this is one I must admit I do see in the gym. So I go in and I like to do a dumbbell workout, at least to start with, 30 to 40 minutes on a bench. And the reason for that is you can get more done. All I need is a bench and a set of weights, and I can exercise any part of my body, and I can get lots and lots and lots done while I've got while I'm fresh. However, you're there, and it can be quite intimidating when you're just starting out, because there are people there on the bench next to you who are lifting far, far more than you. And I've been at this a couple of months now, and they are still. But they've put the work in. They've put the strength work in for years to build themselves up to that point. You don't get there overnight. But it would be very tempting to go, I can do this, and to pick up a big weight and to throw it around, basically. And it doesn't work for several reasons. One is that in order for the exercise to be effective, you need to use a full range of motion. And so if if you are just jerking the weight in order, because it's so heavy, you have to jerk it in order to use it, you're not properly targeting whatever muscle it is you were trying to target, because you're having to force it. And you're not using the whole stretch of the muscle from in and out. So it doesn't help. The other problem with it, of course, is that you are likely to hurt yourself. And I know from experience, a rotator cuff injury can have you unable to lift a dumbbell for 2 years. So you don't want that. And the same, ripping a muscle, and you could be out for 6-8 weeks, and also damaging a tendon. I've done that before as well. That can put you out for a year. And I'm old, decrepit, as it says in the title. I'm in my 50s. And while in here, I'm still that moody teenager. The reality is I'm not. And if I started doing daft things like that, I would injure myself. So I don't do it. Okay, the second key principle I try to follow is I'm there to work. I'm not there to look at my phone. I'm not there to stare at the ceiling. I'm not there to chat. When I'm in that gym, I'm focused on what I'm doing. And I don't have very many rest breaks. The rest, you do have to have some rest, but I try to keep it to a minimum to get as much done in my gym time. My key focus throughout really, I think it's the key to success is it's in your head. It's your approach to it. So you start doing an exercise and it starts to hurt. What do you do then? Do you speed up to get it over with quicker? Do you just stop? What you need to do is to lean into it. So make sure you're doing a full range of motion. Focus on doing the exercise slowly. Time under tension is important, in my opinion. And feel the muscle, feel it working, and go. And when it's hurting, go, good, it's working, because that's what you're there for. You're trying to make an improvement to that muscle. The other thing I tend to do is lots of sats. Now, this goes against core principles, and we'll go into that later. But I like to get pumped up. It feels good. And I'd like to get to the point of failure having done lots of sets. Perhaps it's a personal thing. We'll talk more about that in a minute. The other thing is I do aim for 5 times a week. Four, I sometimes only manage 4, but I'm aiming for 5 times a week. And that comes from my previous experience that if you start going to the gym and you go and you do an exercise, you do a workout, you feel great all day. Then the following day you think, no, I won't go today. I don't want to overdo it. I'll go again tomorrow. And the following day you'll wake up and the only thing that will move is your eyeballs. You'll be broken. Personally, in my experience, you want to keep doing it. Get your body used to it. Get your body to go, this isn't going to go away. We're just going to keep doing this, so you better adapt. Okay. Right, so I'm one of those sort of people that likes to do their own thing. If you go to the gym and you don't know what you're doing, there are trainers there, and these people will know their stuff. They'll have studied at university and they'll guide you through it. Personally, I'm not very good at following advice and doing what other people tell me to do. It's a personal failing, I'm afraid. So for me, I would use a book. Actually, this is the second copy of this book I've had. I lent the first one to somebody. You know who you are, don't you? Yeah, you. So I bought it again. And a book like this will, one, give you motivation and show you lots of people who've transformed their bodies and what they did, the sort of exercise things they did. But more importantly, it will walk you through all of the exercises and how to do them properly. Another good one, this is a heavy one as well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia. Again, similar thing, all the exercises, they just walk you through all the exercises and how to do them. That's where I started out when I started going to the gym. Was right, I want to do this properly. So you start going to the gym and you don't know what you're doing, and so you follow along with what other people are doing. Oh, what's he doing there? And you learn, and then you do it and you go, by gum, that really gets that part of your body, doesn't it? And learn, and then you read and know more about it. So that's how I got into it. Then, right, we should just talk about the traditional approach, really. So the traditional approach would be to whatever exercises you're trying to do that day is to pick up a reasonably heavy dumbbell for that muscle group and do 3 sets of 10 or 12, okay, with a break of a minute or so in between. The issue I have with doing that, if you're starting out, is one, you don't really know what is a reasonable size weight. If you lift one that's too heavy, you could hurt yourself. If you lift one that's not light enough, not heavy enough, then you're not going to make gains. Another approach would be that I've done these things in the past, is to do your 3 sets and then you do drop sets. So you reduce the weight. So you're getting fatigued, the muscle is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then you keep going, doing a few more sets with a slightly lighter weight. Because you're trying to get almost to failure, really, to make good advances. So that's the traditional sort of approach, progressive failure, do they call it? I don't know. But that's not how I do it. So the way I do it is probably just me being contrary, isn't it? I've got to be different. Is I start with the lightest weight on the rack. So traditionally, what they suggest is the other way around, that you pick the largest muscle groups first while you're fresh. So your largest muscle groups, your legs, your back, your chest. And then as you go on, you do lighter weights. That's not how I do it. I start with the lightest dumbbell on the rack, 2 kilos. And you're going, oh, well, that's not for me because I can lift a 20 kilo dumbbell. So can I. But I still start with a 2 kilo dumbbell every single time. And that's one, because I like to get pumped up. 2, I want to get warmed up. And 3, not every muscle needs a big weight. And also, I'm trying to always push. And I find the best way to do that is to be moving up the weights. Going, can I manage to do so many reps of this exercise at that weight? So you put down whatever the weight it is, pick up the next one on the rack. Can I? And you find out. And some days you can, some days you can't. But you're always pushing and you're always trying to advance. So I will start with a 2 kilo weight, and I will do some of the muscle groups, which for me at least, only need a small weight. So dumbbell swimmers, where it's like, which focuses on your forearm flexors, both sides. And forearms is, you need to build your arms up, whatever you're doing. So the forearm flexors, and then other muscles, things I will do with a lightweight are shoulders, deltoids. So lateral raises, what else? Upright rows, side laterals, bent laterals. Arnold press. Arnold press is an interesting one. You know, you're going, oh, Arnold press, I use a 14 kilo weight for that. Yeah, I can use a 14 kilo weight for an Arnold press as well. But basically, if you don't know what an Arnold press is, it's like a shoulder press, but you have a twist in it. So you're going like that. The idea being that you are working both heads of the deltoid as well as your back. So, yeah, actually, a 2 kilo Arnold press hurts like Billy-O. I'm guessing because you're targeting it's using the deltoids more. Whereas when you're doing an Arnold press with a heavier weight, I end up, it doesn't hurt as much, but I can't push as many. So I'll end up with, 12, 14 kilo weight, pushing an Arnold press, and I'm doing 6 or 4 or whatever at the end. But it's using the back more than the shoulders, I suspect. So yeah, anyway, start with the lightest weight. So let's run through a typical program for a day. So some days I just do an all body thing. I just do a free for all. I pick up the weight and go, oh, what exercises could we do with this weight today, and work through. Though I am now starting to get to the point where I'm focusing more on a couple of muscle groups per session. So let's run through an example. So say today I'm focusing on arms and chest. Yeah. So I would start with that 2 kilo weight with dumbbell swimmers, and I would also do the wrist flexors, both sides, with a 2 kilo weight. Then I'd repeat it with a 4 kilo weight and a 6 kilo weight. And so I start with a high rep. I'll start with 20 typically, and then I'll go down until I'm just pushing 6, maybe. And so that's the early part of the set. Then when I get up to 6, that's when I start to bring in arms. So I'll do arm curls. I'll do supination arm curls. So there's one is when you're like that, and I actually really like to do that on an incline bench, and because you can really get the full flex then if you do it on an incline bench. The other one is when you've got the dumbbells to your sides and then you've got a twist in it. I will also do hammer curls where you go like that. I will also do tricep extensions, so behind the head with the weight, stretch out like that, squeeze at the top. Again, I'm focusing on the full range of motion, slowly, no rush, time under tension. So at that point then, that'll be a light weight for that muscle group. So it might be a 6 kilo weight, and I'm just doing my first set of tricep extensions, and I'm doing 20. Okay, and then as the weight goes up, it's going down. So at this point, I'm not doing the wrist exercises now because the weight's too heavy. I've moved into doing arms. I'm doing biceps, triceps, and this is another principle I tend to follow, is clustering them together and having very little rest break. So I will do, and then swapping. So let's say chest. Okay, so for the chest exercise, I will do, so say we're at probably 8 kilos for chest I would start at. I will do 20, what do you call them? I always forget the names of these things. I'll start with a reverse grip press. So, a standard press is like that, with a dumbbell in each hand. Well, I will start with them like that to hit the chest differently. So I'll start with 20 of them. Then I'll immediately, no break, turn the hands over and do 20 presses. And then I will bring the hands together, and you do this narrow grip. It's called a crush press, I think. And that targets the middle. And then, so I've done 20 of them, and then I'll do 20 flies. And by this point, even with a lightweight, your chest is screaming and is pumping up nicely. And then I will stand up. The other one I do is when you call, what do they call that one? A crossbody raise, I think they call it. So basically, you draw a dumbbell across your chest, and it really focuses on the centre of your chest and the upper part of your chest and into the shoulders. Because that's one of the things I really wanted to strengthen, because, well, my chest was gone basically, but the muscle was only at the very bottom, and so I wanted to fill it all the way to the top. So that's a really good one. So I've done these sets of 20 reps of one set of each. So I've gone bum, 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 bum. At this point now, my chest is on fire. So what do I do now? Do I stop and stare at the ceiling? Do I, chat or look out the window? No. What I do is immediately swap and do arms. Same thing. I'll have probably started the arms one weight lighter. So now I might only be doing 16. And this is the other thing. So I'm starting at 20. And so you're sort of going 20, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, that sort of progression. But I'm not saving myself for the next set. So I might going, oh, well, it should be 16 really. But if I can manage 17 or 18, I'll do 17 or 18. Do you see what I mean? I'm pushing all the time, even though it's a lighter weight. I'll then do that set with the arms, set the weights down, pick the next one up that's 2 kilos heavier, repeat. And I keep doing that until you reach the point where, the arms will probably give out at about 14 kilos. Sometimes when I get to that sort of point, that sort of 14 kilo point, I'm running out of puff. I'm getting tired. I used to be able to, when I was young, I used to be able to be on the bench for an hour, but now I can't. 30, 40 minutes is enough. And so sometimes I'll get to that point where I'm up to 14 kilos, say, and I just know I haven't got enough left in me to do 3 or 4 or 5 exercises at that weight and then carry on and do up through the next set of weights. So instead what I'll do is I'll pick one. So this morning, for instance, I picked dumbbell press, and I did 12 at 14 kilos, because this is the other thing you get, is when I stop doing one after another and just do, so you can actually do a few more reps. So 12, and then I kept increasing, going up, 16 kilo weights, 10, 18 kilo weights, 8, to the point where, and then I stop at the point where I can't push it cleanly. Anyway, so that's what I do. I am at the point now where after 40 minutes, I will then go and do something else. And I suspect over the coming months, my gym sessions might increase up to an hour, because at the end, I'll go and do, so for example, cables, where you could do a full set body workout with cables. So I will focus on a couple of the exercises. So for instance, chest, cable crossovers really gets the bottom and the middle of your chest. But also some of those machines. The machines are great in that they really isolate a muscle. And if you're getting tired at the end of a session, that's when I like to use them. I just don't like to use them at the beginning of a session because it takes too long to go from station to station to station. But then near the end, you're going to say, oh, I'm going to do this one or this one and that one. And you get to the machine. And again, I'll do the same thing. I'll start with a lightweight, high reps, pin out, next one down, next one down. Keep going until I reach failure. So that's what I'm doing in the gym. And yeah, it's working. I'm starting to see, well, the upper part of my chest is building, all of the chest is building, my arms noticeably larger. When I'm working, I'm starting to notice veins popping out, which is a good sign because it means my body is adapting and is growing new blood vessels to supply these muscles with more blood so that they can work harder. Now, we're at that point now. The only way really to gauge this sort of improvement is to show it to you. So viewer discretion advised, because I'm a decrepit bloke in my 50s, and yeah, I lost a lot of weight on keto, but I'm still cuddly, and I intend to stay cuddly. And but yeah, if you want to see what 2 months of going to the gym does, we'll show you in a sec. So just to remind you, before I did the diet, I looked like this. This is what I looked like last year before starting doing the gym. And now, you sure you want to watch this? We'll play out with this. This is what it looked like after doing it for 2 months. Take care, folks. See you next time.